KDB is the best Premier League player at the moment.
Agree?
I agree.
Hands up, huh?
I mean, at the moment,
Facts.
he played like 20 minutes.
Is he the best player in the Premier League?
I'm holding my hand like I'm in the video. He thinks on the team. Bones says over Haaland. You guys know where I stand when it comes to Haaland, right? Haaland is the best goal scorer in the world for me. Maybe the best striker in the world. But the best player, Haaland's not better than De Bruyne, bro. I don't think Haaland would even tell you that he's better than De Bruyne. I don't think any City player would tell you Haaland's better than De Bruyne. I don't see it personally. Haaland is a great goal scorer. In terms of best players in the league, he's up there. But I don't think he's better than De Bruyne. I don't think he's better than Salah. Then maybe you can put Haaland in that conversation. But I think those two are better than him, personally. I think they're both, in terms of output, unbelievable. Salah and De Bruyne, just like Haaland is. But also their impact over a game over 90 minutes with the ball at their feet is also, in my opinion, much larger than Haaland's is. Now, Haaland gives you something in terms of off the ball. He's a threat through 90 minutes, stretches defenses, the fear factor. But I think De Bruyne and Salah, I put them maybe up here. Haaland is in that next category, in my opinion.
If we're saying best player of the season, Mohamed Salah's done everything to prove that he's the best player of the season. But
the incoming tears. So it's his league, bro. This is his league, bro.
Is
It's been his league for a while.
It's
Yeah.
De Bruyne's
De
league.
Bruyne's league? Is it Salah's
It's
league?
De Bruyne's
Or was
league,
it
bro.
Kane's league until he left? They were the big
Nah,
three
it's
for
never
me.
been Kane's
Yeah,
league.
Yeah, sure. Of course, they were the
big
big three. But
But
for
what
me,
ultimately it comes down to is league titles and trophies won.
and impact on
and
those
impact, yeah.
trophies won.
And impact
I don't
on those
agree
trophies.
with that. I don't agree with that. That's the reason why KDB is over Salah. And I'm consistent with that, right? The reason I have KDB over Salah, because when you kind of compare players, right? Like I see this, that's almost more of like a GOAT talk. Like when you talk about how many rings they got. But a lot of that, to be fair to Liverpool fans, is really based on the team you play for. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne has more titles than Mohamed Salah. Like, look at the teams they play for. De Bruyne, City have won titles without him. But the reason I think De Bruyne is better than Salah is, I don't know, man. In terms of just like, you look at a player and kind of wows you, right? You look at a player and you kind of look at him and look at the rest of the pool, especially midfielders, right? How many players in the world can do what Kevin De Bruyne does with a ball? I don't think anyone at the current moment. The accuracy and the efficiency and almost the inevitability of this guy's playmaking, of this guy's passing, of this guy's range of passing. And let's not also forget his dribbling as well too. The way he's able to drive through the fences. Engine in the middle of the pitch. Can drag defenders wide, can play at that number 10 position. Big goals as well too. Not saying that Salah doesn't have that. But all of those are, for me personally, the reason why I have De Bruyne over Salah. In terms of trophies won, like, are we going to say now Bernardo Silva is better than Mohamed Salah? I'm not going to go that far. Are we going to say now Haaland is better than Salah? I'm not going to go that far. But in terms of what De Bruyne has done, especially as well, the consistency that he's done it at, I agree with what someone in this chat said. De Bruyne might be the best player in the world at the moment, guys. I'm an Mbappe guy. I think Jude Bellingham, what he's doing right now, is absolutely unbelievable. But when you look at the level De Bruyne has done this at, for, I would say, about now 4 or 5 years. Big Champions League moments. People won't remember all of them because City didn't win the league and didn't win the Champions League in all of them. But the big moments that De Bruyne has had while leading this Manchester City team and the style that he's done it is ridiculous, bro. Not many players can say that they've had the consistency over these past few years at the level he's done it like De Bruyne. So again, I wouldn't go as far as saying best in the world, but he's in those conversations. In the league, I think that's a whole other subject, bro. De Bruyne for me has been the best player in the league. I mean, we'll talk about it soon, but potentially since Hazard left, bro. But that's a conversation for a whole other thing. No one has ever said KDB is the best player in the world. That doesn't really mean anything, guys. I'll be real. I don't really care who people say is the best in the world. But I'm saying you could make the argument for it. Whether people say it or not, that doesn't make it true. If you look at, let's take a year, from 2019-20 to now, how many players, if you look at their average level from 2020, 2019 to now, their average level, how long they've done it, how many stack up to him? There's very few, to be honest with you. There are very, very few players that stack up to De Bruyne's level these past 6 years, these past 5 years. I would agree. For me, it's Mbappe at the moment. Because I think when Mbappe is playing at his absolute best, no one can touch him. And what Jude is doing right now too is crazy. But is what Jude is doing right now any different than what Kevin De Bruyne has been doing for 5 years now? He's scoring more goals, sure, but in terms of impact on games? Or is it because he plays for Real Madrid?
I think with Salah is he's always a standard bearer for the goal scorers.
Yeah.
I always feel like the top goal scorer, if you're going to be
Playmaking
a
as well,
Golden
though,
Boot,
now.
Of course, the past year or so, he's completely hit a new arc, if you like. But I always feel like he's been that, if you're going to win the Golden Boot, he's the man you got to beat, if that makes
absolutely.
sense. But in terms of
for sure,
just being the best player in the league, I think we've always looked at Kevin De
I think that De
Bruyne
Bruyne is
as
best. He's better than Mbappe at his best. I wouldn't agree with
biggest
that.
difference maker. The guy who
Mbappe
at
is
times
best
we've looked at
too
as
much.
best player in Europe, best player in the world. Do you know what I mean? And Salah we've looked at moments as well, but Kevin De Bruyne for me is just more undeniable. And I think just on the weekend gives you prime example, bro. Guy comes back 4 minutes, inevitable.
I can't lie too. What Fuad said here is actually right too. It's the style in which De Bruyne does it as well, and that's kind of an aesthetics debate. But this is like at the same time, right? People who try and pretend that aesthetics don't have anything to do with how we view footballers is nonsense, bro. It's nonsense. Like, let's not pretend now that how good a player looks doing something doesn't impact the way we as viewers enjoy them. And like it or not, and that's not even to say De Bruyne now is the most aesthetically pleasing player to watch. I would say a lot of people think he's like robotic in terms of his movement. The mechanics of the way he plays are very much like, you know what he's going to do. He does the same thing over and over and over. So that's not to say now De Bruyne is some like free-flowing, easy on the eye guy. But the way they do things and the way they go about their business, I think De Bruyne does it in a much more enjoyable to watch way than Mohamed Salah.